Mamy ze sobą naszego gościa, pan Otto Linher, senior ekspert w DG Grow w Komisji Europejskiej. Otto, are you with us?
Yes, dziękuję bardzo za zaproszenie.
Proszę bardzo, Otto. We are always happy to have you with us. Mr. Otto, Mr. Linher work with the REACH unit on the DG Grow. And so, of course, but his extensive experience in overseeing the implementation of the industrial policies hopefully help us better to look for also more global and more general aspect of this transformation and these shifts which we see now in the Commission. We prepared also some slides with the quotes from the high politician in the EU to support our discussion today with Otto. Otto, if you allow me, I will try to first address the horizontal question, because we all see this change in Europe, which is going on right now. And from your experience from our experience working with the DigiTrade, we know that the competitiveness is always high in your agenda. But how this new political guidelines for 2024-2029 influence your priorities, especially in terms of regulatory simplification and competitiveness? Is this new wind of change is already feel in the Commission, and is it help to increase renewed focus on enhancing an economic strength of the chemical sector?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. Let's say there is part which is continuity, there's part which is new. The continuity is certainly that the challenges that we have in terms of decarbonization and digitalization remain the same. We still have a big dependency on energy sources from outside the EU. We still have the climate crisis, and that is still the main objective of policy. At the same time, we see that there is a problem with high energy costs and unfriendly trade policies. Our new commissioner, Mr. Séjourné, has called that a scissors effect that causes, let's say, a major problem for our economy, and it's also reflected in the economic situation that we are facing, and not all parameters are looking nice for industry, including the chemicals industry. So the new Commission wants to address those problems, and it's in particular the way we want to achieve let's say, the transformation to decarbonization and digitalization that is in the center of the new policy. It's in particular a policy to facilitate investments and innovation in key technologies in infrastructure, but it is also regulatory simplification, and that's where it touches our particular work, because I'm working on the REACH regulation. So here we certainly feel already the need to work on revising the priorities that we had under the old Commission, and we are intensively working on preparing a revision of the REACH regulation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Otto, for highlighting all those challenges. I think that actually the world change very quickly, and those challenges not only remain the same, but are actually higher than ever. And also thank you for touching upon the REACH revision, we will, of course, address it a little bit later in our discussion. But let me ask you about this elephant in the room, the clean industrial deal, which we all talking about. And here is the spoiler alert for our audience. This deal will not replace the Green Deal. This is something which will actually intend to complement it. But could you share some insights on the expected timelines of its implementation and how we as a chemical industry can actually involve in this discussion? In Poland we have this quote, this is Latin, nihil novi, which is going back to the beginning of the democracy in Poland, which means nothing about us without us. So it's even a rhyme.
Yeah, thank you very much. The Clean Industrial Deal is basically the program of the new Commission. You already have the political guidelines that President von der Leyen has given out, but this is going to be more specific in terms of industrial policy. It's an initiative which is supposed to be published within the first 100 days, so we can make the calculation. It's around March probably that this will be published. It's a communication. It expresses the vision of the commissioners, and in that way, I think it's already an initiative that is being prepared intensively, probably not so much in terms of input that is needed at this stage, but the deal is more an announcement of things that are going to happen later, and it's on the basis of the Clean Deal that the input of stakeholders and member states will be sought, and it's more the implementing side where I think input is coming. In terms of the basis for the Clean Industrial Deal, there are already a number of sources which I think give a bit direction. You mentioned the Draghi report. There is also the Lata report on the single market that is important. There was also an important initiative for the chemicals industry that was started in February, the so-called Antwerp Declaration, which gives parameters where we need to work on, and I think it's important then to pay attention about the content of that Clean Industrial Deal and then react. Clearly, the idea is to allow both achieving sustainability and competitiveness. There's a lot about simplification, about investments. It's about access to cheap, sustainable, and secure energy supplies. I think that's roughly the framework for the Clean Industrial Deal.
Thank you for pointing this out, Otto. Yes, you mentioned the Antwerp Declaration. I'm really happy to tell you that the Polish Chamber was one of the first signatories of this document. So we are happy that it is actually it's starting some new wave of thinking about the competitiveness in the relation to all the policies, which is really great from our perspective. We also make our homework and we're preparing our chemical industry manifesto in Poland. And we have it in English, so I will be happy to share it with you after our call as well. So if that might be helpful in future initiatives. Now I would like to also ask you a little bit talk about it, the energy transition and support for energy-intensive industries. This is like a part of the this Clean Industrial Deal. However, it's always take quite a number of discussion in our agenda. We discussed it yesterday. We will probably discuss it also today because this is what like one of the most pressing challenge for the chemicals industry. And considering the intensity of the transformation of the chemical industry and its importance for the EU strategic autonomy, Are there plans to implement a more gradual schedule for changes to avoid extensive burdens to high energy intensive sectors like ours? And are there any specific form of support envisaged that could help maintain the competitiveness of the sector? Other words, what is our DigiGrow plan and initiatives for the decarbonizations?
Yeah, thank you very much. The issue is that certainly the challenges that we are facing will not go away. If it is about a more gradual approach, we are trying to facilitate every.
Oh, Otto, you are sorry. You were freezed,
Yeah,
and I was trying to fill the stage.
yeah,
But,
yeah. I try
we are
to
giving back to you.
understand
We are
what we
giving.
are saying.
You are the
Okay.
star, so.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I think you mentioned that the dependencies are still there, the challenges are there, so we have to find a way to master those challenges. So we are trying to help the industry in supporting competitiveness, that's clear, but we also need to give a direction, and that also means that a lot of the efforts will be in facilitating investments. A lot will be on infrastructure. That's very important to help industry to master the decarbonization. We need to work on lead markets in clean technology, so it's carbon capture and utilization, it's biotechnology, recycling, for example, hydrogen production. Those are important parts. We need to simplify planning, tendering, permitting, and all that will be part of an initiative that we're calling then the Decarbonization Accelerator Act. So it builds on existing efforts. We have worked on transition pathways. We have worked on, let's say, establishing collaboration with industry to identify the necessary steps. So that all that will be maintained, but we need to intensify this in order to really help industry and the chemicals industry out of the current market problems. Yeah, so maybe I stop here. Thank you.
Let's go to the question which is the most relevant for the chemical legislation about the REACH. We hear this call for the simplification of legislation as such in many places, but the REACH is one part which actually was appear in the Draghi report as a example of a possible simplification, and also in the speech of two commissioners. Could you tell us a little bit more about this planning and the REACH revision and what this simplification actually means, because that's not clear.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Well, we have already prepared, let's say, quite a lot of the basis for a REACH revision under the previous commission. But during that preparation, we saw all the events like the Ukraine war, like supply crisis, like the COVID crisis, and also changed framework for let's say, the economic situation of the chemicals industry. So all this led the new commission to put another focus on that project, which is simplification. That means we still want to address the problems that have been identified in the impact assessment, which are that we need to modernize the information requirements, in particular to issues such as endocrine disruption. So we have new CLP criteria on endocrine disruption. So, but we also need then to have the necessary information requirements to allow identification of endocrine disruption. So this stays there, but we will of course try to keep that as simple as possible to avoid any undue burden on the industry. a key element will be on how to address authorization and restriction. I think we all realize that authorization and restriction takes too long, which means that there are delays for environmental and health protection, but also a lot of problems for industry, because all during this preparation time, there is uncertainty. And I think everybody who's worked with chrome plating or with PFAS knows what I mean. So that means that we need to be faster in deciding, and in particular in deciding on the cases where there are clear risks. For example, on PFAS, on certain consumer uses, we're talking about Teflon pans, about consumer clothing, about ski wax and these things. For that, we need to be faster to react. But we also need to realize that there are some cases where it concerns industrial uses that are critical for society. And also there, we need to give clear signals that the use of the substances, in this case PFAS, will remain possible. So this is, let's say, the broad line, the broad problem on authorization and restrictions, which we are trying to address. I think certainly we will reduce the need for authorization. So authorization will probably play a lesser role. And on the restrictions, we will also need to think how we can better tackle this dichotomy between the clear uses where we need to act very fast, and also to, let's say, be clear on allowing uses where it is critical. But then we might also look at finding ways that where we allow continued use of substances, we still trigger investments into innovation and substitution where it is actually feasible. And in that case, we are looking at the concept of substitution planning, which may help us to focus resources on trying to identify what we can do to substitute the substance instead of going for bans in those uses.
Thank you, Otto. You actually addressed the two questions I had for you, so thank you very much for also highlighting the issue with PFAS. In fact, we are much more favor in restriction, as it is more risk-based tool, which actually help to address the real problems in contrary to authorization, when the substances are added to first to substances of very high concern list, and then to the authorization list without actually no assessment of the risk related to that substance, more on the hazard based. So thank you for that. And we have like last minute, so I will go directly to the last question about the innovation. Please, could you tell us whether the DG GROW have planned to foster innovation in the chemical industry, particularly in relation to green technology and low carbon processes?
Yeah, thank you very much. This is going to be one of the priorities of the chemical industry package. So the Clean Industrial Deal will already announce the broad lines of what we are going to do for the chemicals industry, and that will then be worked out in a chemicals industry package where the REACH revision is one of the elements, but innovation and investments is another big pillar. And here we will again continue with the frameworks that we have for support of investments, but we try to simplify work, we simplify procedures, and here the planned competitiveness fund will play a very important role. So it will be in a few years, sorry, I don't have the exact year now in my mind, there will be a new multi-annual financial framework. And instead of having many different funding possibilities, the idea here is clearly to focus on one tool that is really directed to supporting competitiveness of European industry. So a lot more effort will go into that direction. There will be a European Innovation Act that will be prepared by the Innovation Commissioner. And well, this is, let's say, within the Commission, this is a big cooperation. A lot, of course, will be done through the work of our colleagues in DG Research and Innovation, but there is also strong cooperation with DG Grow, with industrial policy, and that is where we expect also, let's say, intensification of that cooperation and trying to direct investments into the areas where we need it most.
Thank you, Otto. Actually, the innovation is one of the key elements which should help us to go back to the right track, to the competitiveness of the EU. Thank you very much for your insight today, Otto. It was a pleasure, as always, to have you with us. The policy direction you have highlighted today will undoubtedly be profound for our chemical industry sector and help us better understand what are the plans for the Commission. Thank you very much, Otto.
Dziękuję bardzo. Do widzenia.
Do widzenia.